Your Excellencies,
Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to continue talking about women in the workplace, and I want to read another article pointed to me by one of my viewers, and I really appreciate it. So, here's the article. Why women are leaving the workforce in record numbers. Lean in, lean back, stand up, sit down. Everyone has advice for women wanting to get ahead. How about get a job? One tiny problem may be holding women back. They are leaving the workforce in record numbers. The number of women aged 20 and older not in the labor pool, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, has soared from 40 million in 2000 to nearly 49 million today. Another 315,000 called it quits last month. The participation rate of women in the workplace has dropped from a high of 60.7% in 1999 to 58.8% today. By contrast, some 72.5% of men are either working or looking for a job. What's going on here? With all the focus on equal pay for equal work, and with opportunities continuing to expand for female employees, the exodus of women from our labor pool is surprising, and possibly a tad inconvenient for those charging that businesses still discriminate against women. There are numerous explanations put forth to explain this trend. Most tend to identify two categories of workplace dropouts. The first includes young mothers who are not highly educated and therefore not likely to earn enough pay for children. Economically, these women are better off staying at home. The second and more problematic group consists of highly educated women who drop out or opt out when they have children, even though they have the skills and income necessary to hire childcare. This later bunch has economists and feminists alarmed for different reasons. Economists consider the defections costly for the country. We need highly talented and trained workers. For feminists, the dropout tends to undermine their argument that women, even our most accomplished and best educated, are victims of discrimination. If the women most likely to enter the C-suite marathon increasingly choose to hang up their running shoes, why should we expect more finishers? A recent study by Joni Hirsch, professor at Vanderbilt Law School, makes the case. She looks at female graduates of our top universities, those presumably who have the best shot at shattering the glass ceiling, and finds that once they have children, they are more likely to quit their jobs than are women who graduate from less selective schools. Although elite graduates are more likely to earn advanced degrees, marry at later ages, and have higher expected earnings, there is little difference in labor market activity by college selectively among women without children and women who are not married. But the pressure of children is associated with far lower labor market activity among married elite graduates. Most women eventually marry and have children, and this net effect is that labor market activity is, on average, lower among elite graduates than among those from less selective institutions. The numbers tell the story. Overall, Hirsch reports that 60% of women who graduated from our top schools are working full-time, compared to 68% who made it through less prestigious institutions. Married women without children from top schools are 20 percentage points more likely to work full-time than those with children. The difference for graduates of lesser schools is 13.5 points. Perhaps the most astonishing is that only 35% of women who have earned MBAs after getting a bachelor's degree from a top school are working full-time, compared to 66% from second-tier schools. So, as Hirsch argues, if only a little more than 1/3 of the best C-suite candidates continue to work after they have children, it is not surprising that women are not showing up more often in corporations' top ranks. This is not the only study that indicates our best and brightest females are voluntarily bowing out of the workplace. Stefani Albanese, economist with the Federal Reserve, published a paper last year showing that college-educated women often leave the workforce when their husbands' earnings surpass their own, allowing them to retire without the family taking a big financial hit. Between 1993 and 2006, the number of college-educated women in the work pool declined by 0.1% per year after growing at 2.4% per year from 1976 to 1992. The result was a loss of 1.6 million skilled workers. Albanese attributes the change to sharply rising compensation for educated workers, particularly for men. In 1975, college graduates were paid 43% more than those without a degree. In 2008, that premium had soared to 92% for men and 70% for women. Albanese concludes that these women simply do not need to work as their income has become less important to the family. She says the decision to retire has little to do with children, since many women bow out long past the baby stage. Sarah Glynn, analyst for the Center of American Progress, takes Pay Equity Day, April 9th of this year, to argue that wage gap women are paid on average only 77% as much as men, causes women to leave the workforce. One could argue that this is because women enter and leave the workforce more often than their male counterparts, that they are paid less. Few studies have been able to isolate the effect of tenure on the job. Glenn writes, "It often makes the most economic sense for the partner with the lower salary to be the one that takes time off. Though the wage gap has been shrinking, Ms. Glynn, among others, would like to see more laws passed to make the penalties harsher for discrimination and to demand more accessible child care for workers. Such measures might help low earners juggle the demands of parenting and work, but it won't do much to keep our highest achievers on the job. At some point, those frustrated by C-suite male dominance may have to face reality. Many women enjoy life beyond the office." Okay, so there it is. What a tremendous amount of bias in that article. It's really frustrating for me to read these things, because even if the listener, the reader, doesn't agree with the points being made in the article, and I don't, just the idea that people hold this view and that some of them think it's normal, or they present it to the world as normal, is really unsettling. You know what I mean? So even if you dismiss it on a conscious level, on an intellectual level, it still hits you on this other level. It's like, wow, women are really that blind. They're really that oblivious, and they really think that we are that stupid that they can throw out an average number and say that it applies, to women in particular fields of endeavor. And it's like, wow, we're in a lot of trouble. These people are willing to misrepresent, they're willing to lie, they're willing to destroy men's careers, they're willing to take jobs that they're not qualified for, and then they want to get rid of those jobs. And they want to condemn the men for not having those jobs. And it's not like these are just people on YouTube with opinions. No, these are highly accomplished, highly skilled professionals. So that's unsettling, isn't it? It is for me. And then to present, this phenomenon of women leaving the workforce and present it as, oh, they're just upset that they're getting 77 cents on the dollar for every man. It's like, well, that's completely false. That's completely not true. That's a complete misrepresentation. So this becomes a kind of dominance from a liberal, progressive point of view, but it's really this horrible, regressive, and bigoted point of view. And it's using these false accusations of not being progressive and not being liberal enough. You're a racist, you're a sexist, you're a homophobe, you're an Islamophobe. And it's like, no, I just, don't want to get hurt. I just want to protect my own future. I just want to be treated fairly. It's like, if you present these ideas, so this is the environment, and it's very, very difficult to defend against when society, culture, the people around you, the people where you work, seem to accept these ideas as completely normal. And they're completely false. And if you don't go along with them, you become excluded from the group. So it really is doublethink. And it is so disorienting and destructive to the powerful, capable man, to the person who can work in, a free competitive market. So you introduce these kind of tactics and behaviors, both socially and economically, and it destroys the market economically and of ideas and of growth and of being progressive, because that's what it is. It's regressiveness masquerading as, being progressive and liberal, and then accusing people who don't go along with you of, being regressive. So I guess I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Please let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.